Hello. Welcome to this week's episode. I have no idea what's going on. I've had one of those days that was just like back to back to back to back to back meetings. But I'm so glad to be here with you to spend some time talking about what happened in the Portland startup community this week. Let's get into it. This literally hit my inbox right before I jumped on with you. Our friends at the Portland Business Journal were kind enough to do interviews and cover folks who participated in our recent Where Are They Now with startup founders for Black History Month. They specifically focused it on Pitch Black alums. So 8 of the 10 companies that were participated in interviews with Stephen Green are featured in the Portland Business Journal. I will go ahead and link that up because you get additional insights into the founders and the companies they were building and their experience and where they were and where they are now, which is what the event was designed to do. So where are they now? The Portland Business Journal will tell you. Now, I hear you. You're like, I don't have a subscription, which you should. You should have a subscription to the PBJ. But all that aside, you don't have to pay for this one. This one's on them. Suzanne Stevens, the editor of the Portland Business Journal, was kind enough to drop the paywall on this one. So I'll link it up. You won't be blocked. You just go to the Portland Business Journal and read about all these interesting founders, and you're like, wow, those are really interesting stories. I would like to see more of those stories. Well, you are in luck because next month, this was Black History Month, so we focused on Black founders from Pitch Black and Built and Pi and any number of Vanport Studio, like any number of other organizations that have had the chance to work with these amazing founders. Next month, in March, Women's History Month, which means we will be focused on women founders from Built and Pi and Pitch Latino and Pitch Black and Latino founders and Vanport Studio. We'll get folks up on stage to kind of share where they were, where they are, all that kind of thing. Please RSVP. We're probably halfway sold out at this point, so still a couple weeks for you to get a seat so you can be there. March 11th is the event. We are still finalizing the location, but I think we have it locked down, and it would be good to see you there. But also, in addition to that, don't forget that April 8th is the big, just kind of general networking gathering event. So no programming, just get people in a room, get them talking to one another. In January, that event had 400 people. We have 360 odd people already RSVP'd for it. So I expect it to be up, 600, 700 people RSVPing, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to make any promises, but it would be really nice to see that. So on your to-do list, get your ticket. It's free for the March 11th Women Founders. Where are they now? And please RSVP for the April 8th event. It's free. And it would be great to see you there and to get you connected with the Portland startup community. As always, even if you can't attend either of those events, please feel free to sign up for the Pi Portland Startup Community Meetup group. And that way we'll just keep you in the loop with all the events we're planning. And there have even been more. Like I had sketched out a bunch of events, and now folks are like, hey, maybe we should try this. Maybe we should experiment with that. And I'm like, yes, we should, because what the community needs right now is not more of the same old stuff we've been doing time after time, but we need to try some new stuff, new things, experiment. That's what we're doing. Pi is the Portland Incubator Experiment. We're experimenting. We want you along for the experiment. Come join us in the meetup group and see what we put together next. November is going to be crazy. And December might have Startup Santa. I'm just saying. So get on the list. Join us on Meetup, and I'll look forward to seeing you at one of our future events. If this is valuable, if you would like to see more of this, if you think I should keep doing this, please just leave a like. The big one, I've been holding off on this one for a little while. I've known about it, but I just haven't published about it. I thought this would be a good week to do it. It's our friends out in Pendleton at the Oregon UAS accelerator, the unpersoned aerial systems accelerator. You know, they do the drones stuff and they like helping with the drones things. They do an accelerator and bring in a cohort of people building drone stuff. They have something new. I always love when accelerators kind of expand beyond their immediate purview to engage the community in new and interesting ways beyond what they're doing to accelerate startups. And of course, Joseph Wayno and the Oregon UAS Accelerator would move in that direction because Joseph gets it. He knows how to engage the community. He does a really good job of being like, I don't know how he's everywhere and anywhere all the time, but he's showing up to all kinds of events, being part of the community, running the accelerator, all these kind of things. Anyway, this is the most important part. $100,000. That's the prize package for this new competition that they put together. And here's the interesting part. I talk about how they deal with drones and unpeopled aerial systems, but this is a counter measure. So how do you protect against nefarious activity with drones? How do you protect against people flying drones where they shouldn't be flying them? How do you protect against people invading privacy in situations with drones? Counter drone, counter UAS competition. So if you have ideas, if you think you have something that you're like, oh, this will totally protect people against drones, or this is a way to prevent drones from invading airspace in which they should not be, they're currently accepting applications. You can apply and figure out, like, if you have come up with a concept that they find interesting, then you'll be entered into this competition and judged and evaluated and all those kind of things. But the prize package, $100,000 to continue doing that work in counter drone activity. So not counter drone, not like a drone that's on a counter, but like against drones. You get what I'm saying. But super happy to see Oregon UAS pursuing this. I'm really excited to see what kind of submissions they get. And I don't know, I'm hopeful. I remain hopeful. I need to do it. It's on me. It's not on them. But I would really like to get out to Pendleton to observe the facility and engage with the companies out there and the people doing the work and doing the things and helping with the drones. And I will make sure to do that this year. I promise you, I will get out there, check out the Oregon UAS Accelerator and some of these competitions. Because, you know, like, fun fact, I kind of went to college out that way. And it's been a while since I've spent any time in Pendleton in a quality way. Driven through any number of times, but I haven't been there in a while. So I should head out there. And if I do, I will drag you along. You will get to participate. We will show you all the amazing things they've got going out there. But for now, your chance to experience the Oregon UAS Accelerator crew is to submit an application. And I sincerely hope that you are the proud winner of the $100,000 prize. I always get questions from people who are outside the region who are like, well, Intel's there. Like, there are more Intel employees in the Portland area than anywhere on Earth. It's the most concentrated group of Intel employees. People are like, oh, there must be all kinds of startups coming out of Intel. I'm like, no, there aren't. We rarely, if ever, see startups coming out of Intel. We rarely, if ever, see people from Intel. Now, that's nothing against them, nothing against the people at Intel, nothing against Intel proper. It's more a cultural thing in the region. If you're in Portland, this will make sense. If you're outside of Portland, you'll be like, what? But here's the thing, like Intel is out in the suburbs, and Portland just has a really hard time with like leaving particular regions. Like, so if you're not familiar with Portland, we're divided east and west by the Willamette River. And we're divided north and south by Burnside, which is a main thoroughfare. And so that divides Portland into specific quadrants, but they're like 6 quadrants, so it doesn't make sense anymore. But there's like what you would expect, like southeast, southwest, northwest, northeast. There's also north and south, but be that as it may. Portland divided by the Willamette. Like, people who are on the east side hate to cross the river to go to the west side. People who are south of Burnside hate to go north of Burnside. People who are north of Burnside hate to go south of Burnside. We don't like perceived barriers. We like staying in our own little regions. And so when you talk about the suburbs of Portland, there are the West Hills. There's a very tiny hill range with like big enough they have to drill a tunnel through it to get through it. But like, Intel's over there on the other side of the West Hills. You have to go through the West Hills tunnel. Like, that seems like a barrier to folks. Or you have to cross 217, which is a highway that seems like another barrier. So anyway, going both ways. Like, Intel people don't necessarily come into town. Portland people don't necessarily go out that way. So we don't see as much collaboration as we would like to see. We don't see as much engagement either way as we would like to see. So by way of being said, shortest story long ever, we don't see a lot of Intel startup spinouts. Apthwack, which was a pie company, is one I can think of. Eclipsium, which is a Andreessen Horowitz portfolio company. We talked about them a couple weeks back, where they raised $45 million in addition to other money they've raised previously. So they're an Intel, a couple of folks from Intel starting a company, but it's rare. It's rare to see that. So that's why I'm really happy to see that Ahead Computing, which is a whole bunch of like Intel people who founded it, and they seem to keep getting Intel people joining them. Ahead Computing just raised $22.1 million to continue to fund their growth in the region, and that's really exciting to see. I guess Ampere kind of like, anyway, we're on Ahead Computing now. I'm sorry to derail, but they've raised some more capital. They're definitely attracting talent from Intel and continuing to build, working on the idea of processors for this next generation of technology and how you provide GPUs to people who need intensive processing power for AI and the like. I'm keeping an eye on Ahead Computing. I think they're really onto something, and how much they continue to kind of raise and attract in terms of talent could be really beneficial to our community. It's been a while since we've had a truly hardware-based startup that was garnering attention around here. So, I mean, PayRange is another good example that is a hardware play, and they've been really successful. They just made an acquisition recently, but it's rare for a town that is as focused on advanced manufacturing and has not only so much Intel talent, but ASML and other people and Mentor Graphics and yada, 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 like all these people focused on hardware. You would think we would have more activity in that regard, but we don't. So it's always nice to see these companies that are pursuing something that's getting funding, that's allowing them to continue to grow. Please keep an eye on Ahead Computing, and I will keep an eye on them as well. On to Shotsy, a new mobile app specifically designed who are taking weight loss drugs that require injections, like Ozempic. I can't remember, it's GPL1. There's some classification for these drugs that are helping with weight loss, but it's a regimen. Like, you have to track it. You have to pay attention to what's going on. You want to know how it's affecting your body and your weight loss and all those kind of things. And so Aja Beckett had created, she'd started to try and track this stuff personally. And she's like, this is too frustrating. I need an app to do this. So she's built an app called Shotsy that enables people to better track their regimen on these weight loss shots. And obviously you can think of other areas where people are required to take injection plant-based medication where it may also be beneficial for those kind of things, but specifically focused on this new category of weight loss drugs. And it's got like 100,000 downloads, and like people are using it and really good reviews. And it comes as no surprise to me because I first encountered Aja with one of her other startups, which was called Civil. She had come out of, if I'm remembering correctly, she had been a moderator on TED, like Big TED event, like had been a moderator on their web properties and their videos and that kind of thing. And so she had created an app back in the day that was called Civil. And Civil was focused on really creating a more like virtuous cycle around commenting and validating other people's comments and helping like create good conversation in like blog comments and news article comments, web-based comments beyond typical social blah blah. They had even at one point been adopted by probably my favorite alt weekly of all time, Willamette Week, of course. And they had adopted the Civil solution for their comment sections, implemented it, but that for whatever reason didn't quite get the traction or performance that folks were hoping for. But now Aja's on to this new thing with Shotsy, and it is definitely, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, timing is the whole thing with startups. Like you can have the best team, you can have the best technology, you can have the best user experience, you can be, all these great things. If your timing is off, even slightly, it will fail. If you're too early and you can't hang on, it will fail. If you're too late and can't deal with the competition, it will fail. It's all about timing with startups. And I feel like Aja has timed this exceptionally well. She started using a medication. She tried to do something to track that. She discovered the pain point that a lot of other people were going to encounter, and she built an app to really satisfy that. So if you are on those medications and trying to track your regimen, then check out Shotsy. Even if you're not, check out Shotsy, because I think it's a really good example of a founder recognizing a pain point at the right time and building something that is satisfying the needs of hundreds of thousands of people. Shotsy raised $2 million because investors are like, they recognize timing. They're like, oh, okay, that's got some traction. That might be something. That's got some heat. Let's put some money behind that and see what happens. So that's what's going on with Shotsy. You may have seen them around town. Shotsy won one of the Demolicious events. They appeared on stage at the 2024 Demolicious Champion of Champions event. They're doing really well, and I'm really always happy to see serial founders taking another swing and getting traction and investment that helps them build the companies they want to build. So keep an eye on Shotsy. This one is on again, off again, on again, off again, the beneficial ownership information reporting. I talked to you about this last year when we thought we were going to have to report, as any business practically had to report on beneficial ownership information to the feds. It's part of like their, not cybersecurity, but like protecting against criminal endeavors using U.S. business structures. So it's a way of reporting so that the feds better understand like what you're doing with your business and who actually owns the business and what you get from it and all those kind of things. Like it was a thing, and then it wasn't a thing, and then it was a thing again, and then people sued more, and then it wasn't a thing and it got stopped, but now it's back on. So I am not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. But given that this thing keeps waffling back and forth, just submit your information and get it done. It's due March 21st, 2025. There may be another lawsuit that like stops it in its tracks again, but it will likely, based on previous performance, get overturned again. So rather than worry about it, rather than continue to wonder, do I need to do this? Do I not need to do this? Just file your beneficial ownership information report if you're comfortable doing so before March 21st, 2025. I think it's important for you because if it continues to hold and you don't report, you could be subject to significant fines. And as an early stage company, as an early stage startup, you need access to every penny you possibly can have. So I don't want to see you getting hit with fines. I don't want to see you getting in trouble. So again, not legal advice, not accounting advice. I am not a legal or accounting professional. I am just saying to you, read through the material, make the decision for yourself, but please consider reporting your beneficial ownership information before March 21st so you don't incur any penalties, because I would like you to be penalty free for this year. So please consider that. All right, you've stuck around a while. Like there's only like 10% of the people, maybe 5, who started watching this video who are actually still here right now. So thank you. But this is our special time, just me and you, because there aren't many folks here right now. I kind of got a bit of a conundrum for next week, and I could kind of use some of your advice. So let me set it up. Like this week's been busy. Next week is going to be as busy, if not busier. I have travel midway through the week that'll kind of take me out of pocket for business travel. And then Thursday night, which is usually, I'm sitting right here on a Thursday night because I usually record this show on Thursday nights so I can drop it Friday morning. I am going to be supporting Pitch Black Food on Thursday night as the part of the AV team. So I will be gone all day Wednesday. I will be, I obviously have work, but then I will be helping manage the AV for an event throughout Thursday evening, which probably won't put me home until late. And then I'm like, I don't have time to record. Even if I worked out a script, it would be really difficult to record on Thursday night. And yet I do not want to let you down on Friday. I feel an obligation to you. You're kind enough to show up week after week. I just want to fulfill that obligation to you to provide a show every single week. Plus, I will have like who won at Pitch Black, like food. Like I will know that information. So I'm kind of wondering what would be interesting to you. I've thought through a few ideas. Like I can record the bulk of it in the airport while I'm waiting for my flight home and do most of the editing on the way home, and then just record the pickup once I get back in the studio, record the pickup for like Pitch Black Food and any other news that broke on Thursday. That's one idea. Another idea is I could just do it live.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
I could do it live on Friday. Like I could create the whole script and all those things, and this stuff you see happening here, we could be live together. I probably wouldn't be able to respond to your comments, but I would at least be able to do it live, and you would be able to see how bad this is without editing. So that's an option. I could do that Friday or Saturday or whatever after I get my script and stuff together. Maybe like a lunch break. We can have lunch together, and I can tell you about what happened in Portland startup community during the week. The other option is I just hold off till Saturday. I hold off till the weekend or whatever, record it, edit, drop it as quickly as I can. But I don't want to leave you in the lurch. Like if you show up to happy hours on Friday with all kinds of interesting, trivial knowledge that you learned from the show, I don't want to leave you hanging on Friday evening But then again, if you typically don't watch the show until like, oh, you read the newsletter on Sunday and then you watch the show just to get the recap, I don't know, you tell me. I'm happy to do whatever you think I should do, but just like comment below with what would be most entertaining and compelling to you. I'm happy to do whatever. Like, I am here to provide you with information. I want to know the best way of providing you with that information. So if you are it's not even a whole person at this point. If you are the half a person who is still watching or listening to this and you have an opinion, I would love to hear from you on what I should do for the episode next week. Barring all feedback, I will figure something out. But I always like you to have input. Like, I like you. I trust you. I want to provide the information you need. Just let me know. Let me know what you think. Okay? Cool. All right. Not going to lie. I'm kind of concerned about traveling. Like, just basically what's been going on. I have to get on a plane. It's a little concerning. There's just like, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it will be fine. If you have to travel, I hope you are doing okay and are emotionally ready for that kind of stuff. I hope everything's going well. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.